Hello, I am MinecraftPhenom08, and welcome to the 47th episode of my second 1 billion iron ingot challenge. In today's episode, I am going to tweak my iron ore processing. That's because I am not getting quite enough throughput right now. If we look at my ME system here, and if we look at the iron ore, I am currently running at 6,000 iron ore. If my processing was working like it should, I would have 0 iron ore because it would all be being processed. So I need to tweak that. The first thing I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to tweak something I built 2 episodes ago, and that is actually my cooling system that I have right here. And I've actually done most of it already, but I will finish it off and show you exactly what I'm doing here. So before, I was making IC2 coolant to put into thermal mediators, and that would give me a plus 50% boost. The thing was, I just wasn't able to produce enough of the IC2 coolant to completely fill all of my thermal mediators in this area, so I decided to actually go with a simpler system, and that would be a system right here. What I'm doing is I'm making crushed ice out of water using NuclearCraft supercoolers. So let's go ahead and set up one of these systems right here. So I have RTG right here, I have the supercooler here, and then I have the dense infinite water source, which gives the supercooler water. And in each of the supercoolers, I have 40 speed upgrades and 21 energy upgrades. And that means that the system uses just under 400 RF per tick. And I chose that because obviously the RTG right here produces 400 RF per tick, so I needed something that I needed to run the supercooler at slightly less than that. So that's how I got these numbers right here. And that does produce more than enough crushed ice to fill up all of the thermal mediators very nicely. So that's what I've been using. It works very, very well. It's simple. I don't have to export lapis or anything. The build is just a whole lot simpler than the system I had before, and it works almost as well as theoretically the other system could have done. So, actually I need to go down, and the system I have right now, it actually works very well. Like I said, I'm just going to be kind of tweaking it, I guess. But the problem I have is I don't have a whole lot more room down here to build more sag mills. And I am getting backed up iron ore wise, so yeah, I'm not able to process it quite fast enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to rip out all of these sag mills, and I'm going to replace them with the enhanced sag mills. Now the enhanced sag mill does have one issue that I will need to deal with, and that is the item duct will not attach up to the top side. You can't attach anything up to the top side here. So if I go ahead and put that there is no way for me to access the top side here. So yeah, that's gonna be pretty much what I'm gonna be dealing with in this episode. So what I'm gonna do is right now I'm going to grab all of these sag mills, and actually, you know what, I'm actually gonna snag these capacitors out of them, and that's because these capacitors are very valuable. I'm probably gonna end up just throwing away these sag mills because I don't really want them clogging up my ME system or anything, because I do not believe that they will stack because they have stuff in them. They have metadata or whatever. So yeah, they don't stack. So what I'm going to do is, and I can do this off camera, I'm going to grab the capacitors out of all of them, and then I am just going to pick them up and throw them away. And once I have this entire area cleared out, I will be right back. Okay, so now I have all of this area stripped out. Let's grab the advanced sag mills. Now I do have one configured, and I have the other 79 right here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to place these down, and I'm going to set these up to be in and out on the bottom. And then I also need to grab capacitors to throw in them. So let me grab, 79 of these. Because that one already has a capacitor, so I don't need another capacitor for that one. But okay, so what I need to do, and I need to do this 79 more times, I need to plop down an enhanced sag mill, throw in a capacitor, and then set this up to be push and pull. And I need to do that 78 more times now, so I'm going to do this off camera because that's going to take a while. And once I have all of that done, I will be right back. I now have all of these sag mills configured, but I actually need to configure the item ducts underneath as well, as swap out these modular storage units. Now these worked well in the past with the item duct, but I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to swap these out for ender chests, and that way I can have an advantage here. And I want a specific ender chest. I want white, or white, blue, white is what I'm going to use. So let me grab some lapis, and it's actually right here. So I'm using white, blue, white for basically my unfinished products. Things basically I get from pulverizers and sag mills now. So yeah. And as we can see, there's a lot of stuff flowing through this ender chest system. And I actually have something like 9 of these hooked up to import buses, and that way I can get enough throughput. In the past, I actually had only 1 of these hooked up to an import bus, and the ME system actually wasn't able to import the items fast enough. So yeah, so now I have a lot of these hooked up to import buses, and now I have even 2 more. So what I need to do is I need to grab some item conduit here, and I need to reconfigure some stuff. So I actually need to dig down here, and actually, okay, so I have this in not the right mode here. I had that in 5x5 mode. Luckily, apparently it doesn't take away tile entities, because I would have just done a lot of damage right there. Oh my goodness. That could have been real rough. So that's good to know. So I need to dig down here, because what I need to do, I need to reconfigure these item ducts here, because I need to, let's do extract on brown. And over here on my ender chest, I need to have an item duct, and I'm actually going to have it over here, I think. And let's see here. I need to connect this up. Let's just do it right here. This will be in on brown. So, and let me grab a facade. I have some facades with me. So let's facade that up so it looks nice from above, and let's also facade that back up. Actually, I can't really do that. So what I need to do now is I need to go around and I need to make all of these extract on brown always on. And I need to do that for all of these sag mills, because they are all stuffed with pulverized iron, pulverized tin, pulverized nickel, and cobblestone right now, and that's why they're not functioning. So yeah, I need to work on that, and after I have all of these configured correctly, I will be right back. So I have all of my item conduit configured, and actually I've already had these enhanced sag mills run through my entire stockpile of iron ore that I had. So as we can see, there is none here, there is none in here, and yeah, some of my sag mills are not running because they don't have iron ore anymore. So that's fantastic that I've already run through my entire stockpile. As I was actually filming this episode, because I had to rip out all of my sag mills, at one point I actually had over 30,000 unprocessed iron ore, and this system absolutely ripped through that very, very quickly. As we can see, this sag mill is on, and yeah, a lot of them are running still, but I have a lot of them not running, which means in the future when I expand my iron ore production, I will have plenty of ore processing here waiting for it to process it. So a few notes here on the enhanced sag mill. The enhanced sag mill uses 225 RF per tick versus the 150 RF per tick that the regular sag mills use. So that's a 50% increase per machine. However, these machines do run, I believe, something like 100% faster than the regular sag mills. So that's obviously fantastic. That is actually a gain in energy efficiency. So that's always nice to know. And yeah, so before I wrap up this episode, I should mention a few changes I made up here that I didn't mention earlier. The primary one is that I've added more of the ender chests over on either end of this system, and I've actually segmented my impulse item ducts here. And that is because the impulse item ducts can only carry so many items through them at a time, and I was having issue with that because originally I had, say, an ender chest. It would have been right here in this block space where the superliminar fluid duct is, and I had a U shape. My item duct was in a U shape. I didn't have the ender chest down here. This was just all item duct, and this line as well as this line led to an ender chest over there. And the problem was I was having too many items coming from my pulverizers, and I was clogging up my item ducts, and therefore my pulverizers would start to back up. They would get full of items in their output, and then they would stop running because they couldn't run anymore because their output was full. And that was primarily due to things like lapis, because when you process lapis in the pulverizer, you actually get 10 lapis lazuli for every lapis ore. So that was quickly bottlenecking my entire system. And so basically I just segmented my item ducts by dividing it in the middle here and putting ender chests on either side of the system. And like I went through earlier, I also swapped out the IC2 coolant thing because that wasn't working very well. But this system actually works very, very well now. I'm not seeing any issues with it whatsoever. Additionally, I should note that originally in this room I had import buses on ender chests in this room. However, I don't have room to do that anymore. So I actually have import buses on that ender chest over here, and I have 7 of them, and they are just under the wall right here. So yeah, there are 7 of them here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that's just because I have an insane number of items going through these ender chests at a time. 1 import bus wasn't cutting it, 2 import buses wasn't cutting it, so I just put a whole bunch of them, and now I don't see any issues whatsoever. I'm getting enough throughput, so that's fantastic. So I think that's just about all for today's episode. I know it's a short one, but definitely I think something worth showing. So in today's episode, I kind of reconfigured my iron ore processing a little bit, tinkered with it, I guess would be a better way to say. I replaced the sag mills with advanced or enhanced sag mills, and that should increase my throughput, or my available throughput, by something like 2 times. So I'm excited about that. And as of right now, I have 257 million iron ingots. This episode is being filmed very, very close to the last episode, so even though I only have something like 6 or actually no, I have something like 4 or so million more iron ingots than last episode. But anyways, I am getting about 20 million iron ingots per day. I did a rough calculation earlier, and I got 1,000 iron ingots in about 4.5 seconds. So actually, that's pretty fantastic. And I can kind of show that right here by just hovering over this. And if you want to hand time this, actually looks a little bit slow right now, but maybe it was going a little bit faster earlier. I don't know. But anyways, it's around 5 seconds for 1,000 iron ingots. So that, I feel like, is pretty fantastic. Anyways, if you enjoyed today's episode, definitely give it a like. If you enjoy watching automation in modded Minecraft, definitely consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. Anyways, signing off, I am Minecraft Phenom 08, and I will see you next time.